Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Once again, it is Sovereign Saturday. A sovereign man needs various skills. This is very important because if you're talking about sovereignty, of course, we're talking about money. We're talking about money. You got to have money out here. Like I always say, money isn't everything, but it's up there with oxygen. It don't necessarily mean you need to make $1 million, but if you're talking about being able to move around with authority, you're gonna need some money. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, and buts. You know, you're gonna want your own spot or at least a place that you can call your space. You're gonna have to pay for it. Even if you call yourself, you're gonna be a sovereign man, but you ain't gonna get a regular home. Like, and you got some people who are voluntarily homeless. You know, they get them a tent somewhere in some woods. Well, you still got to pay for that tent. And you never know, you probably need money for other situations. You still got to get some clothes. You still got to eat. You know, even if you talk about getting a space somewhere and building your own home, you still need money. Okay, fine. You need various skills, really. Well, one, to make money, but just two, just to live, just to fix up stuff. Let me start with the last one first. You know, you sovereign if you can paint your own place, you can fix your own car, you can change your own oil, because then you're not dependent on someone else. You can cut your own grass and everything. The more skills that you have to take care of different things just around your home, the better. That's very important. That is very, very important. Because you got to think, how are you sovereign, but you dependent on other people for several things? The more little things you can do, the better. Like I always say, you know, I always get somebody hit me up and say, hey, you know, I can make some shorts for you. I can do some thumbnails for you. I can do that myself. I don't need you. Because why would I have to be dependent on someone else to do something? They might not move according to my schedule, you know? I would have to sit and wait for them. How am I sovereign? Do for self is a big part of sovereignty. Having the skill to do for self is sovereignty. Now, getting back to the main thing, money. Money, now that's most important. That's why I have a money channel. It's very important that you make money and you have various skills. Now, I always joke I've had 1,000 jobs. Now, not literally 1,000, but I've had a whole lot of jobs. Now, I always said if something happened, like I said, you know what, I'm just tired of talking with people. I always know I can get a job. I don't care what's happening out here in the economy, what's going on, what businesses are laying off people. I always know I can work. I've said I've worked in government offices. I've worked retail. I've done independent vending. I can do sales. Like, first of all, I got sales skills. That means I can go virtually any place and get a job, and I'll be cool with it. I got the skills for it. I'm a hard worker, period. I can go work at a warehouse. I can go work at a warehouse. Even, like, that's one of the things, even coming back from a stroke. I know in a couple of months I can go to a warehouse and throw stuff around with some young guys, because I was doing it before, you know? That means I'm not dependent, you know, and I have flexibility because I got different skills. So I can do manual labor. I can do sales work. I can do office work. I can do administrative work. You know, just have the knowledge in these different areas. I can run a business. Shoot, I have the knowledge. I could set up a whole retail operation easily. You know, so something I actually probably would have did if I was, instead of my age now, 59, instead of 59, if I was 29, I said, okay, I feel like dealing with other people. But just having those skills, that's bottom line. I'm not worried about making money. I am not worried about making money. I'm trying to get my timer on so, you know, I get enough here, because, you know, I got to have a certain length to make money. Indeed, that's why I got different websites and everything, you know, because then I'm not dependent on it. In fact, let me use that for an example. I remember years ago, Years ago, they had an ad apocalypse. It was in March of 2017. I always remember because I was still working retail then. I was still working retail, and I was planning on leaving that job and doing the videos full time. But then they had the ad apocalypse, and they were cutting back on how much money they were giving people. So I had to stay at that retail job just a little bit longer. But I had the skill to do so. I had the skill to do so. I was able to do other things. In fact, anybody who's known me over the years, they always know I always had 1,000 things. But that gave me sovereignty. That way, if something happened in one place, I had something someplace else. When we had that ad apocalypse, I still had the retail job. And I still had all the skills from that. And even now, just what I'm doing now, like you got a lot of people lately been getting their YouTube channels snatched. I was planning for that back in 2017. That's why I had multiple channels and multiple platforms. Like if you want to be a sovereign man, you got to have your options. Now, because you got some men out here, they can be real good in one profession. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that ultimately. But you always have to have something else. In fact, in my book, Nice Guys and Players, I specifically said, even if you're a man making 6 figures, get you a side gig, get you a little business. You don't have to make money from you making 6 figures, but you'll have those skills. You want to develop as many skills as possible. That makes sovereignty easy. Indeed, being entrepreneurial, one thing about, I've said, and I've said this on my money channel, the thing about entrepreneurs is many of them, in fact, I would say most of them, when they got started, they were probably working on another job. There's plenty of people now, men and women, they might have like a business. You might see them in a business, or you might see them at a vending show, something, but they got another job. They got something else part-time. You know, that's just the thing. That's just the nature of money. You want to be able to bring in money from as many places as possible. That way, even if you're working for somebody, now ultimately, well, 2 angles. Say you're working for somebody. Say they laying off people. That's not affecting your sovereignty that much because you got the thing on the side. You maybe have a business, you maybe have a part-time job, right? Or say your business, you have your own business, and something happen. Anything can happen. Something can happen in the industry or something. You still got a full-time job or a part-time job. You still got something. You always got to hustle. You always got to hustle. You got to have multiple things. Indeed, even corporations, if you look at corporations, let's go beyond the sovereign man thing. Let's get some money matters in here. You look at a lot of corporations, they conglomerates. They got a lot of things going on. They don't have just the one thing. A whole lot of corporations got multiple, got their foot in multiple businesses. Even some that don't have anything to do with their main business. But they're always bringing in money. As a sovereign man in this society, you have to bring in money. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. And you have skills to do little things, fix up your stuff, change your own oil, stuff like that. In fact, even that, let me use that for an example. I remember when it was real tight for me. I had to rotate my own tires. But that's a sovereign mentality. Do for self. Be in a position where you're not dependent on other people. There's nothing wrong with their support, but you're not dependent, because when you become dependent, then you got to play by their rules. That messes with your sovereignty. So I want y'all to think about that. Develop your skills to the greatest extent possible. Develop your skills, no matter how small, tiny, whatever. You want to be multifaceted. And you want to have like multiple ways of making money. You don't want to be dependent on just one thing. No matter how much you love that one thing, there's nothing wrong with being a master at it. In fact, I recommend that. But then have something on the side that you might have to fall back on. You want to be able to have the skills to maintain your sovereignty. So, all right. So anyway, that's all I have for today. I want y'all to keep rising and transforming to become the most sovereign man that you can become. Peace and blessings.